Good evening, everybody. It's Norma, and I am here to do part 2 of my candle empties for the month of October. I did a video like mid-month, and I already had so many candles accumulating. I was like, oh my God, I am not keeping them to do at the end of the month like I normally do. So I decided to split it in half. So this is part 2, and thank God I did, because look what I got here. If you guys watch any of my videos, you may recall that I mentioned during the summer, I spent every weekend, I go down to Ohio and I help my mom with gardening and landscaping and things around the house. So during the summer, I'm not home on the weekends. I don't really have time to just sit and relax with candles. I still manage to get a lot of burning done during the week, because I always have, about 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours at night. So I usually get 6 hours a day in, if not a little bit more, but usually that's typical. However, during the weekend, since I'm home, I've really gone to town. And I actually have been burning even more than usual simply because, I have, a display set up for, fall decorating. And I'm going to do something for Christmas too. I haven't quite figured out what yet. So I really have a lot of candles going, which is fine because I have a lot of candles to burn and to get through. So you can see why I tend to buy a lot. So this was a very interesting month. It was kind of the transition from, the fall apple scents, getting more into deep fall, early winter, pumpkin spice type scents, some bakery scents. So the candles that I have before me right now, for the most part, did very well. And I liked most of them with just, a couple exceptions. So I'll start at this end and work my way around. Here I have 2 pillars of autumn wreath. I got these at the Marshall Homegoods stores. These were a limited edition. I think they came out last year. And I took the price tags off, but I believe they were selling for $7.99. And frankly, I was tired of the scent because I had 2 pillars burning in September, and then I did it again in October simply because I bought several of these, and I wasn't that crazy about them, to tell you the truth, so I really wanted to get rid of them. I had some burning issues with this, mostly with the wick moving, and I was able to correct that. If you want to know how, I did do a video on how to do that, but it took a couple tries. But once it got fixed, it was fixed. I think I had to correct the wick fairly high up. But once it was fixed, I had no problems with the wick moving again. So that really wasn't an issue. I have a lot of soot, as you can see. Mostly that's because there was a couple times I got lazy and I decided not to trim my wick. And that's just not a good idea. These wicks were actually, how can I say? I'm trying to show you if I can get the lid up. You can't really see, but these wicks are a little bit thicker. And I also had the same thing happen with my witch's brew here, where this one's a really good example. And you probably can't see it very well, but the wick is really thick. So even though it looks like it was short, if it had been like a regular wick, I wouldn't have trimmed it. But because these were so thick, if I didn't trim them after every burn, the flame got, crazy high. And I don't like that. I don't like high flame. So I'm always, fanatical about trimming my wicks. But, I'm human. Sometimes I get lazy. And it looked like it was short, so I didn't trim it. And I found out that because these wicks are so thick and wide that I did have to trim them, pretty much down to like the nub, the stub of it. So that's what happened with these, with the soot was, sometimes I got lazy. I didn't want to do the trimming and I got the high flames. So I don't know, with the autumn wreath this year, it just didn't do it for me. So I think I may have a few more and a couple more large jars, but I probably won't purchase the candle again. It's just other candles I like better. So bye-bye autumn wreath. for this year. Like I said, I do have a couple more. Autumn Leaves. This one is a really popular one with Yankee. And I mean, I can kind of see why. I didn't do a review on this one. I probably should have, but you know, it's supposed to be like a fall crunchy leaf type scent. There's definitely like some juniper in there. You know, kind of gives you like that piney note, which I wasn't sure if I was that crazy about because it tended to border, you know, more toward late fall into Christmas because of the juniper in there. But the burn was fabulous. I had this in a hurricane, actually, and I put a lumen lid on it, but it just burnt fabulous. It was clean, and I have to say the scent throw on this was really strong. Even with all the stuff I had going on, this was in my great room, I could still smell this candle. If it was just burning by itself, you know, it would have, you know, just filled the room. So I can kind of see why it's so popular. You know, it's not a scent that I would want to burn all the time. I mean, to me, it's just, you know, it's a little heavy, and sometimes that juniper or pine could be a little bit sharp. I actually bought some of the melt cups in this scent, and I don't like this in the centerpiece. To me, the scent's too strong and too sharp. But in candle form, it did fine. So I would probably purchase it again. Harvest. I really like this one, and it's kind of funny because, you know, I tend not to go with the trend. I, you know, make up my mind, and, you know, I always like to try different things and unusual things. And I resisted this candle for so long because it was very popular and everybody went with it, and it's like, wow, I'm not going to go with the flow. I'm going to branch out and do my own. Well, you know what? Sometimes the majority is right. And this Harvest is a fantastic scent. I really like it a lot, and I would definitely get it again. I had a few little burning issues toward the beginning. As you can see, there's some residue, so I had to foil it. I think at one point, I'm trying to remember, did I have to cut any out? I don't think I actually cut any out, but I had to push down some of the wax, and it eventually did fine. You know, once I got past the halfway point, as you can see, it burned, you know, pretty much all the way down there and extinguished itself. So yeah, I had a few burning issues with it, but the scent is fabulous. The scent throw, I had it in, you know, like in my great room. It was probably medium, but I paired it up with the centerpiece cup and I think a couple of tarts too I had going, and it did good. I would definitely get this scent again. Apple Pumpkin. This one I was really crazy about last year, and I had, actually, let me get these two over here. I had the large jar going and the 2 pillars. And the 2 pillars, this just happened today because I've been trying to finish them off today. And so I let them go and go and go, and they're still not quite done, but I'm done with them. I'm moving on. So I love Apple Pumpkin. To me, it's one of my favorite fall scents from anybody. I just love apples. I love pumpkin, and the two together is just fabulous. But I don't know, this year it just didn't seem to have that good of a scent throw. I don't know. Did you guys have any issues? I could still smell it, you know, especially like, you know, I had these pillars going this morning, and I was in the kitchen, and they're on a counter between my dining room and the kitchen, and I could smell them when I was in my kitchen, but it was okay for me this year. I would definitely get it again, but, you know, it was just kind of, you know, hit or miss for me. And I really should have tried it on its own. You know, like I said, I had a lot of stuff going on. And usually when I review a candle, I don't like to burn anything else. I just like, you know, clean out the house and just have the one candle going so I could really get a good idea of it. So I really didn't give it a proper chance because I never, did burn it by itself. But I would get it again, and this is like my sister's favorite fall candle. So I got one from her, got her one this year, and so far I haven't heard any complaints. So hopefully hers did just fine. She's the type who will only burn one candle, which is probably how it should be. Napa Valley Sun. I did a review on this one. I love this scent. It is being retired. So if you go into your store and you want to look for it, you have to head over to the treasure section. It is still available online. Did great for me. I think I had a little bit of tunneling issues in the beginning, but it fixed itself, corrected itself. And it's totally empty right now because I scooped out the wax for tarts because I love the scent. I'm not going to waste any of it. This is a writing jar that I got from the Homegoods store. This is Banana Nut, which is, basically their banana nut bread. This did really well too. Clean burn. I paid $12.99 for it. You can get it online right now for, I think it's $17.99. They were selling these writing jars for full price, and I went ballistic. And they eventually did lower the price to $17.99, which is still high considering that they're selling them for $12.99. But you may not be able to find this in the store anymore. So if you wanted it, it's there online. It did good for me. I had this in my computer room for the most part. It threw really well. It was just a warm banana nut type set. I really liked it. And I liked it so much I went back and bought several more. So I have a little stash waiting for me with that one. And this is a candle that I used as a buffer candle. And I have burnt this one before. This is another writing jar. It's called Frosting. And it is basically a dupe for Yankee's Buttercream. And I was surprised really how well this threw. I've always used it as a buffer candle. I've never really burnt it by itself. But there were some days where, I just tried it on its own, and it did really well. It had a little sit there toward the end, but I think I did have to foil it up a couple times, and I have to admit with any of these large jars right now that I said I had to foil up or tunnel, it was mostly my fault because I don't have a lot of time except on the weekend. So during the week I have like maybe 3 hours to burn, and when I get home 3 hours is really generous. Sometimes I have 2, and I'm going to burn my large jars regardless. I probably should just get tumblers, but I think the large jars are the better value. So I'm going to burn them even if I have only 2 hours, and then if I have to deal with the tunneling, I'm going to deal with the tunneling. That's just me. I know most people wouldn't want to deal with that, but I don't care. So they all did really well. Then I had this swirl jar that I also got at Homegoods Pumpkin Patch, and this is a swirl of harvest and spice pumpkin, and the smell on this one is amazing. But I had some burning issues near the end, and these jars, these lids are like crazy. So I have no wick anymore because what I end up doing was sticking it on the warmer. Throw wasn't that great on it either. I mean, it was there. If I was like in the immediate vicinity, I could smell it, but it wasn't super strong. And it did better on the candle warmer than burning, but it's a nice scent. It really is a nice scent. I had another jar of this. I think I bought 3. I gave one to my sister, and then I have one going right now, and the other one is not as strong as this one. This one is, even the color is like a deeper orange color. So the other one I have going on right now is not as strong, and it's having some major burn issues. So I'm not too happy with that one. I probably wouldn't pick these up again if I saw them, even though, oh my God. Cold sniff, amazing, and very cute picture. And then I have these 2. I've burnt these before. I snagged a whole bunch of these when I saw these earlier this year, again at Homegoods. and these were $7.99, and this was a mixture of lavender, ylang ylang, and geranium. And these were okay. Not my favorite. I think it's the geranium in there I didn't quite care for. But for a bathroom, they were fine. The throw was great for a bathroom. I wouldn't try it in a larger room, really. Burning was really weird. This is in a soft wax. They never, ever pulled out completely. I take that back. One of them did. I think this one did pull out and did a lot better burning in the beginning. But eventually in the middle, they just, would do this weird tunneling thing. It was kind of strange because they always seem to kind of even themselves out as look-wise, it doesn't look good. But, I mean, it burnt fine. It didn't extinguish the wick or do anything crazy like that. But, yeah, I think I have a couple more of these left. I wouldn't get them again if I found them anywhere, which I probably wouldn't be able to, but I would rather just have, my lavender vanilla from Yankee or the Bath & Body Works lavender vanilla. I really like that one. I already kind of talked about Witch's Brew, and I just did a review on that one. This candle did absolutely fabulous. Burn was amazing. Once I kept the wick short, very clean for a small tumbler in a large room. It had a medium to high throw. Well, I guess it better not say high. Maybe medium throw in a large room. This one did really well. And then my last one is not a Yankee. This is my very, very first Bath & Body Works candle cinnamon sugar donut. And as you guys may recall, I was a little disappointed initially when I got it. The first 3 burns, I actually had no scent throw whatsoever. And luckily it did improve. Halfway through, it started throwing, and it basically has like that fried donut type of smell. I really didn't get too much of the cinnamon and the sugar. It was more of a fried donut. And at the very, very end, I didn't want to waste any of the wax. I wanted to see. The one thing I've been noticing with some of my Bath & Body Works candle, and grant you I haven't tried that many, is they kind of have like a burnt smell sometimes, and I think it's a wick issue. So I wanted to see what it smelled like without the wick going. So when I got near the end, I stuck it on a warmer, and it was okay. It didn't really smell that much different than when it was burning. And the reason you see it all cut up in here was because I was going to cut the wax up and throw it in a tart, and then because I had forgotten that I'd already had it on a warmer, so there's really no scent left to save. So I started to cut up and say, oh, no, you hit it on the warmer. It's done. It's time to say goodbye. So I meant to actually do a complete full review on this one. I just never got around to it. But most of you who know Bath & Body Works are more than well aware of this candle. So I did like it. I have to say I did like it once I actually could smell it. But I do like pumpkin sugar donut better. So there you guys have it. That is what I was burning for the month of October. And now the cold weather is finally starting to settle in. And I'm really going to get burning now. So if you guys like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe below. And have a blessed day.